So, as a young kid, one of the biggest things about Star Wars that puzzled me was why Jabba the Hutt was after Han Solo. If you remember at the end of Star Wars A New Hope, Han Solo was loading up the Millennium Falcon with all of his money or whatever he was to pay off Jabba the Hutt, and he was leaving. And also, in the beginning of uh, The Empire Strikes Back, he was going to pay back Jabba the Hutt because he had bounty hunters after him. And I've always wondered why he didn't do that at the end of Star Wars, because there's a time gap between Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back. Well, it describes it in Legends. Now, hold on to this thought about Han Solo and let me know down below if you've seen the Skeleton Crew. Because in the Skeleton Crew, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, don't listen. Jude Law's character is known as Crimson Jack. And in Legends, Crimson Jack was a ruthless pirate who had encounters with Han Solo, was his biggest rival. And this is in Legends. And I saw this article on screenrant.com that talked about it and described it. So we'll take the idea of why Han Solo wasn't able to pay off Jabba the Hutt with Crimson Jack and the Skeleton Crew. And this article talks about how they were together, Han Solo and Crimson Jack, how they met in Legends. So let me pull this up and we'll read it together real quick. And it says, this time Han shot first. Crimson Jack's fate in Star Wars Legends was so much better than Greedo's. Crimson Jack has seemingly been brought to the realm of live-action Star Wars Skeleton Crew, and his original incarnation's story ended in a battle that may remind some of Han Solo's standoff with Greedo. The modern Star Wars canon has already introduced its iteration of the pirate, Captain Crimson Jack, in a recent comic series, but Skeleton Crew has revealed that Jude Law's Jad Na Nawad has used Crimson Jack as an alias. This may make him the same character seen in modern canon Star Wars comics. In its original incarnation in the Star Wars Legends continuity, Crimson Jack was a ruthless, efficient pirate leader and a rival to Han Solo. In Marvel's classic Star Wars comics, Crimson Jack robbed Han Solo and Chewbacca shortly after A New Hope, preventing them from paying off their debt to Jabba the Hutt. Crimson Jack would soon become the main villain of a 5-issue story arc that ended with the climactic duel with Han Solo. And there's the comic. Crimson Jack's final duel with Han Solo was one of the most creative in Star Wars history. Han Solo and Crimson Jack's final duel took place in deep space, a rarity in the Star Wars franchise, with most space battles taking place aboard vessels or space stations. Crimson Jack's Star Destroyer projected an energy field that connected it to the Millennium Falcon and allowed Solo and Jack to meet in space without needing any protective gear other than oxygen supplies. What was intended to be a trade, however, became a blaster duel between the two outlaws. This time, Han shot first. While Crimson Jack's energy field protected the two from the many hazards of deep space, aside from the lack of oxygen, they remained vulnerable to blaster fire, and the first blasts exchanged between Crimson Jack and Han Solo were simultaneous. While Crimson Jack became distracted by a larger space battle surrounding him, however, Han Solo took advantage of the opening and blasted him. This will no doubt remind Star Wars viewers of Han Solo's somewhat controversial encounter with the bounty hunter Greedo in A New Hope. At the time of this issue's publishing, there was only one iteration of Han Solo and Greedo's standoff, with Han Solo preemptively blasting the bounty hunter, who was all too eager to kill him. The scene has been infamously altered many times, with the 1997 Star Wars Special Edition having Greedo fire at Han first, and each successive re-release of A New Hope bringing their blaster fire exchange closer to being simultaneous. Han Solo and Crimson Jack's duel in Star Wars Legends while beginning with simultaneous blaster fire, ends with Han Solo definitively shooting first. I found this very interesting, and it made me feel like it completed something in me because I was always left hanging with the idea of why didn't Han Solo pay off Jabba the Hutt? Now this tells me why, because Crimson Jack came and he raided the Millennium Falcon and stole all of the money and whatever else Han Solo was going to give to Jabba the Hutt. And so that's why Han Solo had to go through what he did at the end of The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. But it all ended up good for Han Solo at the end. If you haven't seen the Skeleton Crew, I'll be interested to see if Jude Law's character, Crimson Jack, will actually be Crimson Jack, or if it will be an alias, like they said, to where he's just using the name Crimson Jack to make people scared and do what he wants. So far, the Skeleton Crew has been really good. I've really enjoyed it. Let me know if you've enjoyed it. Also, I'm curious to see what At-Aten really is. Is it a treasure planet, or are they hiding something, some kind of research or something? I saw an article where they said that they were the ones that started the cloning process for the Emperor. So At-Aten was the actual birthplace of where the cloning process started for the Emperor, which ended up, at the end of The Rise of Skywalker, where he is actually cloned and has multiple clones of him and Snoke. But in my last video, I talked about the Rey movie. If you're interested to see how the Rey movie is progressing, you should check this out. You'll find out a lot of information in this video. Is the Rey movie still going? Is it not? I don't know. You'll have to watch it. And also, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. And give me a thumbs up. And remember, the Force will be with you always.